Hello learners, this is Habeeba with Excelwithme. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start today's topic from research methodology paper, fourth topic, that is hypothesis, sampling, tools and techniques of data collection. These all will take 3 classes. So today we are going to discuss hypothesis and then later sampling and later tools and techniques of data collection. Today we are going to start with hypothesis, meaning and types of hypothesis. A hypothesis is an assumption that is made based on some evidence. This is the initial point of any investigation that translates the research questions into predictions. Let me, what is hypothesis here? Tentative solution of any problem. This is very important to start any research. We frame some objectives. On the basis of objectives, we decide this could be the solution. How we are going to decide this might be the solution? Through our review of literature. So this is the initial point of any investigation that translate the research questions into predictions. Now it includes components like variables, population, and the relationship between the variables. Already we understood about the population. That means on whom the subjects or the sample on whom we are going to investigate. And we take some variables, like if we are taking the subjects or samples as the secondary school students, if they are facing any difficulty in any subjects, we are going to take the variables like academic motivation, academic achievement, academic intelligence, n number of things we can take, out of which we select some important variable which suits to your research problem. So we find out the relationship. For example, if I have done the effect of emotional intelligence on the academic achievement of secondary school students, I am taking the variables academic achievement and emotional intelligence. So I will see the relationship between emotional intelligence and academic achievement. If the high emotional intelligence, low emotional intelligence, if any effect is there on their academic achievement, I am going to test. That means I will have the tentative problem that there might not be any difference between the relationship of emotional intelligence and academic achievement. Now, a research hypothesis is a hypothesis that is used to test the relationship between two or more variables. Just now I explained with an example here. Now, meaning of hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated guess or even a testable prediction validated through research. A very important definition of hypothesis. This is educated. Already we got education related to our research problem through our review of literature. That is educated guess. Just not that predicting things like that, illogical. Logically we are guessing the solution. Or even a testable, we are testing even on the evidence is tested also, we see through the review of literature, then we predict and then we validate through hypothesis. Now a research hypothesis, also called a scientific hypothesis. Why we called a scientific? Because there are evidence. We inquire into the matter with some evidences. Here is a statement about the expected outcome of a study. For example, a dissertation or thesis. In MEd level we do the dissertation, or PhD MPhil level we do the thesis work. Now hypothesis literally means an idea or theory that the researcher sets as the examines it and is replaced as a theory when the hypothesis is true in the study's conclusion. Obviously everything revolves under the hypothesis. That means we have framed the statement or the problem. We have some objectives to be achieved. On the basis of objectives, we have some predicted solutions, that is hypothesis, and then we do collect the data from the samples, and then we do the analysis of the data to come to the conclusion that whether our hypothesis has been tested properly or not with the results, whether it is true or false in our conclusions. Now, hypothesis is a logical, just now I told you it's not a illogical, logical prediction of certain occurrences without the support of empirical confirmation or evidence. Before taking any sample or data, we study about the theory, literature review, and then educated guess we will write through. Now let's see the easiest definition given by Townsend. Hypothesis is suggested answer to a problem in the research studies. We can remember this very easily. Hypothesis is suggested answer to a problem in the research studies. Now, types of hypothesis, let's understand. There are 6 forms of. They are simple hypothesis, complex hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, null hypothesis, associative and causal hypothesis. Let's understand one by one. Now, simple hypothesis, it shows a relationship between one dependent variable and a single independent variable. We have to remember, already simple we are saying, we are not taking anything complicated or anything which is difficult here. We take one independent and one single dependent and one single independent variable on which we do the hypothesis testing. For example, if you eat more vegetables, you will lose weight faster. Here, eating more vegetables is an independent variable, while losing weight is the dependent variable. On your eating habit, it depends whether your weight loses or gains. So, one dependent variable and one independent variable. Simple hypothesis. Now, complex hypothesis, it shows the relationship between 2 or more dependent variables and 2 or more independent variables. Contrasts to the simple hypothesis. In simple, one independent, one dependent. Here, 2 or more, both dependent and independent variable. For example, same thing if we take and add upon, eating more vegetables and fruits leads to weight loss, glowing skin, and reduces the risk of many diseases such as heart diseases. So here we have taken eating vegetables and fruits here. We have taken as the independent variables, and what are the dependent variables here? Weight loss, glowing skin, and reduces the risk of many diseases such as heart diseases. So we are taking here dependent and independent variables. Now, directional hypothesis, it shows how a researcher is intellectual and committed to a particular outcome. That means the relationship between the variables can also predict its nature. What is the nature of that prediction, whether may be directional or non-directional. Here we are understanding about the directional hypothesis. For example, children aged 4 years eating proper food over a 5-year period are having higher IQ levels than children not having a proper meal. This shows the effect and direction of the effect. So we are moving ahead towards one direction, whether there is an effect of this eating habit on the children who are eating and who are not eating proper meal, that showing the effect and direction towards the effect. That is directional hypothesis. Now, non-directional hypothesis, it is used when there is no theory involved. It is a statement that a relationship exists between 2 variables without predicting the exact nature. That means exact nature we don't know of the relationship. For example, a researcher might hypothesize that college students will perform differently from elementary school students on a memory task. Without predicting which group of students will perform better, we can tell. How? Because obviously elementary school students cannot perform well in comparison to the college students. That means also called non-directional alternative hypothesis, two-tailed alternative hypothesis. Now, null hypothesis. it provides a statement which is contrary to the hypothesis, it's a negative statement and there is no relationship between independent and dependent variables. That is, the symbol is denoted by H naught. Generally we take this null hypothesis here. Frequently we take it. For example, research question, are teens better at math than adults? What is the hypothesis here? Age has no effect on mathematical ability. That means we are showing there is no effect. That is null hypothesis. Now, associative and causal hypothesis. Associative hypothesis occurs when there is a change in one variable resulting in a change in the other variable, whereas the causal hypothesis proposes a cause and effect interaction between two or more variables. For example, H naught, there is no significant positive relationship between teachers' performance and students' achievement here. We are saying there is no difference. Here, alternative, there is a real positive relationship between the performance of teachers and students' achievement, opposite to the null hypothesis we are taking. HA. Associative. For example, a causal hypothesis, we might want to seek evidence for the idea that inhaling chalk dust causes asthma. What is the cause here? A cause is something that is thought to be bring about something else. That is, for example, we might think that inhaling chalk dust causes asthma. So that is causal. There is a cause for doing something. We are taking that as our hypothesis. So we come to the end of this session. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. I'll come up with the next topic sampling in the next class. Until then, thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.